welcome back to DVC Weekly. This is episode 139. My name is Jay Serpling. I'm the broker of Buy and Sell DVC. I'm here with Scott Ferrioli.
I'm the owner of DVC-Rental.com and Buy and Sell DVC.com.
And today is October 4th, 2023. So your 11th month window is September 4th, 2024. And the 7th month window is May 4th, 2024. People like the May 4th.
Be with you.
May
the 4th be with you.
And as always, remember, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Please look for us on Instagram, Facebook, like Scott mentioned last week, with the Facebook groups, especially for DVC-Rental. He kind of gave out the info that's where you want to be to find the deals. And he's on TikTok doing dances, so check that out as well. And we're going to go into the buy and sell side of things. And today is October 4th. And really today, it's basically the cutoff date for you to buy a property, for you to close on the property, and for you to then get a bill from Disney to pay your 2024 dues directly to Disney. Because what's going to happen, and of course, you may be able to get a property in the next 7 days, and everybody returns it quickly, get it closed. But what happens is let's say you buy a property and now the closing is 12/15. Disney needs those annual dues for 2024 at closing, and now you are covered on annual dues until January 2025. So, because when you buy a property, you have the purchase price, closing costs, and you're going to have the annual dues on the 2024 points. So if you buy right now, over the next couple of days, you'll be able to get that closed and get that bill from Disney. Otherwise, once it closes, like after the first week of December, then Disney's going to want those dues in full, and you'll be covered until January 2025. And then I also want to mention, typically the negotiation when you're buying is on the price per point. Normally it's, buyer paying closing costs, buyer paying dues on the points that they're getting, and the negotiation is on the price per point. So I just want to mention that there. This is the cutoff time, so be prepared for that going forward. And now we go into the food review. Scott's very quiet today.
I'm very quiet.
Come here, I'm gonna eat you! Get in my belly!
So for today's food...
This must be a very serious food. Yeah.
They're all very serious.
Remember, he only has 2 more years left with his oldest son before he decides to go away. So I don't know.
What the heck was that? What the heck was that? Anyway, my family and I went to Caramel Couch, which is the caramel pavilion in Germany. All 4 of us went.
Good. So
I had to think. This was a while ago. Thanks, man. This was a while ago. We went to the Germany Pavilion in Epcot. When I went in, I was hoping they were going to have the ginger caramel cookie, which I've had in the past, which it used to be only a Christmas staple, but then they kept it around full time because it was very, very popular. They were not selling it, but they did have a brand new Werther's Original Snickerdoodle sandwich for $6.99. So it's 2 big, nice size Snickerdoodle cookies with like a cinnamon cream inside and then covered in thick caramel inside. Really, really good. I really enjoyed it.
Man, sounds amazing.
Possibly a little on the sweet side. So if you don't really like sweets, I know you're a sweet guy, so you probably love it. I'm trying to figure out if I really like, I can't tell if I liked it more than the ginger cookie, because the ginger cookie also had a little bite to it because of the ginger in it. But this was really, really good. I think I might like this one a little bit more. I gave it an 8.3. I would definitely get it again. And I also think it was a little bit bigger than the ginger cookie. I remember the ginger cookie being a little bit smaller. So this was a really good cookie. And personally, I love Snickerdoodle cookies. I think they're delicious. So this was definitely a win for me, and I would easily get this again.
I forget, did you used to do crumble reviews on this?
Yes, I did. Yes, I used to do many a crumble review. I stopped a while ago because I was trying to eat better. The problem is I kept buying the crumble cookies, and I'm thrifty. So the best way to buy...
My question is, are you still going to crumble?
No. I stopped going to Crumble probably 8 months ago or something like that, just because what's happening is when you get Crumble cookies, the cheapest way to get them is if you buy a whole dozen of them. You buy one for $4, and then by the time you get to like a dozen, you're like, oh, they're only like, a little under $3 a piece now if you get the dozen. And every week they come out with brand new flavors. So you kept wanting to try the new stuff, and it was absolutely killing me. And I'm sure that helped a decent amount with some weight gain. So I stopped going to Crumble, although Crumble still is wonderful. Crumble makes great cookies. They absolutely do.
I've had Crumble cookies a few times. I just wondered if Crumble cookies was still on the rise overall, or if it plateaued, or if you have no idea. I'm assuming prepared to discuss the business practices.
I wasn't planning on doing this with Crumble. Crumble got a free shout out, but again, Crumble cookies are really, really, really good as well. I still have Crumble cookies in my freezer. I still have a bunch of them. Mm-hmm. And actually, now that I'm thinking about this,
why do we have Crumble cookies in your freezer?
Because you buy a 12-pack of Crumble cookies and they're gigantic, and you can't eat that many, but they freeze really, really well.
But how long have they been in the freezer for?
8 months.
But there was a hurricane that came. I would have thought that you would have bust out the Crumble cookies in case the hurricane knocks out your.
The Crumble cookies are solid, cold ones. They're keeping everything else in the freezer cold for me.
Oh my gosh, she's had cookies in there for 8 months. That seems crazy.
I just remembered. Actually, we broke out 2 Crumble cookies a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay. That makes a little bit more sense now.
God, they were so good. So good. I felt so horrible and guilty afterwards, but they were so good. So thank you, Crumble. All right. I'm moving on to DVC-Rentals portion of this, where I have the top 5 questions about renting DVC points. See, you hit us with the top 5 previously. Now it's my turn. So how does renting DVC points work? So essentially, Disney Vacation Club members, they buy into Disney's version of like a timeshare system. So every year, they get a certain amount of points to use. And points are used to book rooms. So when DVC members are not going to rent out, not going to use their points, we help rent them out for them. So essentially, they book the rooms in your names for you if you're a renter. Typically, you save about 40 to 50% off of Disney's prices. So everything gets booked in your name for you. They still link up on your My Disney experience. You get everything that you're accustomed to getting with staying on Disney property, but as a renter. So very, very simple, because I was going into the second one already. It says, what are the benefits of renting DVC points? And the main thing is DVC points is that you're saving about half off of what Disney charges for the rooms. Previously, Disney had started, I'm sure you recall, about 2 years ago, started charging for parking at the resorts. You always got free parking at the parks, but at the resorts they would start charging you over $20 a night to park at your resorts. DVC members previously got that for free, and renters got that as well because it was part of our dues. However, earlier this year, Disney rolled that back, I think, to just do some bad press. And when Iger came back, he just wanted to get little wins for the company. So they rolled back the parking prices for staying at the hotels. So the main benefit you get on DVC points is that you get to stay for about half of what Disney charges. There's not really any other benefits. You still get the same benefits. You get extra magic hours. It's a deluxe resort. So whenever you stay in a deluxe resort, you get to stay. There's extra magic hours in the morning or at night, where you can come to the park early before everybody else, or stay later than everybody else. So, still the same perks. Are there any drawbacks of renting DVC points? So the only real drawback is that we can't allow cancellations as easily as Disney does. These are DVC members' personal points. So, the Smith family has paid for these points. They can't use them. We're booking everything for, in your names for you, for them. So, they've got a contract with us that they can't use their points. So we pay them 75% up front and 25% after the renters check in. So we really can't allow cancellations. We do have a no questions asked travel insurance policy that comes with every rental that you do, but it covers you and you get credit with the company. We can't just give money back. We've already paid the DVC members for you. So based on when you cancel, you can get up to like 75% credit back to use on a future Disney trip. So that's really the only drawback on there, is that you just can't easily just cancel a room. It's Disney. When it's Disney, it's a multi-billion-dollar company. If you're 7 days out and you're like, hey, I can't come, they'll re-rent the room, or they just eat it. Again, it's a multi-billion-dollar company. We're a small firm, and we're dealing with a family who's renting out their points. So cancellations are not as easy. So the next question was, how do we find DVC? Well, actually, the question was, how do I find DVC owners willing to rent their points? And I think that's one of the best reasons to use a company. We've worked with thousands of DVC members over the years, and we have tons of points, in our queue waiting at any time to rent out points for you. You just tell us, what you want to rent, and, we match you up with one of our DVC members, and most of the time we could have rooms booked in under an hour for you. If you're trying to do it on your own, you have to find a DVC member and try to get somebody. Say it's more than 7 months out, you will stay at Grand Floridian. You have to only find Grand Floridian owners who can book it for you. And then you have to try to vet them to make sure they're not going to scam you. And unfortunately, over the past several years, there's been a lot more scammers out there. So at least when you come to us, we've done vetting for you. We've got the points waiting for you. You've got a contract with us. And for some reason, if anything ever happened to the reservation, you'd be reimbursed by us. So it's much, much safer to go through a company than to go through a random individual you find on Facebook, which is a lot of times what happens. And if you follow Facebook, you see scams happening all the time. Last question is, what are the costs associated with renting DVC points? There are no additional costs with renting points. You pay for the room up front. The only additional costs are really if you're going to stay at Alani or at the new Disneyland villas in Disneyland down in California, as they charge a transient tax, which is an additional nightly tax collected by the hotel itself. So if you stay at Alani or you stay in the new Disneyland, you pay us the same as always, but when you go to check in or check out, I guess, maybe those resorts will give you a small bill on the side. It varies by what size room you have and everything. But I mean, you could be looking at, $3 a night to, $15 a night. It's typically not a huge, huge fee. But, with the renting the points, any other resort, I mean, there are no additional fees. Obviously, if you want tickets and anything you want to add on, food, you have to pay for it. But with us, there's no extra taxes or fees or anything. What you pay up front is what you get. And that is it.
And the only thing I would add is, so let's say you've heard about people, because you have people that have been renting DVC points year after year after year. They know the process. They love it. They love everything about it. All of a sudden, you're a new person coming in, and you're like, well, man, Robert and Mary, they rent points every year. We should rent points. This is amazing.
I had a guy contacting me this week. He's rented with us every year for the last 9 years from the UK, and he just booked 3 different rooms with us. He's staying for like over a month, but yeah, not 9 years in a row. So I didn't interrupt you. It just reminded me, 9 years in a row, the same family has come in from the UK, and they just book it. It's with us every single year. And it's always wonderful. The guy messages me, sends me a Facebook message, just like, hey, it's me again. I just put in requests. Great working with you. And he had to remind me, I didn't realize he'd been having 9 years in a row, but he mentioned, this is our 9th year, booking our rooms with you. It's awesome when I get stuff like that. Sorry.
So the one thing I would just mention is, so now you're ready, you're all ready to go. The one thing that's maybe a surprise to you, because this is not like, is it
where's it going?
Availability. You're like, I want to go to the beach club 4 months from now in a studio. There's no nights available for that.
I see so much of that on Facebook too. Like, I'm looking to go next. I saw him the other day. So I'm looking to go next week for Animal Kingdom. I need these nights in a Savannah View studio. It's like there's nothing left. There's been nothing for months, and if you're able to be flexible, maybe you can find something. But when you sit there and you said, I want these nights, and it's got to be this exact room, this resort, this room size, this room view.
So for some people, that may be a shock because they think that, like hotels out there, they just want to take their money at any time, any place. Well, with this, the way the membership works, and, you have all these members that know and availability and far in advance, you want to plan this out. You don't just, you're not just going to find a studio at the beach club, 3 months in advance.
Unless you happen to find a confirmed reservation on our deals page, 1,000% correct. That beach club studio is not there. They'll sell out 10 months in advance.
So you may see something where, well, if I book it through, DVC Direct, they have this, it's different inventory for members, things like that. So, I mean, that's the one thing I would just mention is you want to, because I mean, after like the person that's been renting for 9 years, he probably has
his requests are 11 months in advance. There for next August, he's what he's booking, or 10 months in advance. He's well far out. He knows what he's doing.
So it's like when you're a first time renter, you're kind of feeling out the process, and then once you become an experienced renter, you know how far in advance you need to go. You know if you're checking something X amount of months in advance, what's the possibility it's going to be available. You know which resorts are going to be available. You know what size accommodations are going to have a better chance. So that's one of those things where it's impossible for Scott to explain all of that, in a few minutes. But it's part of the learning curve with renting is that, what you want may not be available. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, now I understand. And then like Scott said, you just, if you're renting, if you go through his company, you're not going to have any issues. It just, if you're not going through a company, you're just looking at a random person on Facebook. It's just, at this point, it's, be very calm. I wouldn't do it.
It's a tough one. And it used to be, honestly, it was better in the past. There's been a lot, there's been a lot more scammers in the last couple of years. I don't know if it's because of COVID. I think what happens is a lot of people get there, and what I've seen, a lot of people who join like the resales group will get alerted that the potential scammers. And when you click to go back to check out their Facebook profile, the name will be their name is Mary Smith, just as an example, not a real person, Mary Smith, and it's all stuff about her family, and they've been on Facebook for 10 years, and they look 100% legit. And then you look in the little URL on what their facebook.com/whatever. And it's got like an African name in there. So like that page had gotten hijacked from somebody in Africa. And now they're going in there pretending to be this lady. So the page looks 100% legit. And this person will just say, oh yeah, I could book this room for you. Send me your money. And Mary Smith, you sit there and you look and there's her pictures, there's her grandparents, there's her kids, everything. There's stuff from last Christmas. It's got likes all over and friends. But that URL says that it was hijacked by somebody else. I've seen a lot of those recently where the name is not matching what the person's name is by far. And you go, okay, obviously somebody stole this account and is now trying to scam people.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because like my wife and I rented the Manhattan Club back in like 2004. And my parents did the same thing like in 2007. And I feel like it was safer back then than it would be now. Now I don't think I would even do that because there's all these people lined up to try and scam you for whatever reason. But anyway, so to recap,
use a rental company so you don't get scammed. You'll save 50%.
Benefits.
You have the same benefits of staying as a regular guest on Disney property with extra magic hours and everything. So just have to plan accordingly.
And
cancellations aren't as great. That's the honest truth. Cancellations aren't as great. That's the one knock on renting DVC points because these are a family's personal points and it's not a giant multi-billion-dollar corporation. That's the Smith family who's got to get paid for their reservation. So again, they come with insurance, and you can always buy outside insurance to help cover you. But that's really the only knock on it.
That was a lot of good information, and
I thought so.
Because again, you're recruiting new renters all the time, and they come in, and then they fall in love with the process, and then it just.
That's one of the great things about the business is typically the people who rent with us come back again because they've got a lot of times they've got young kids. And they want to take their kids to Disney every year, and they go, well, last year it worked out really well. We saved 50%. Let's do this again. So we get a lot of repeat business, which is wonderful.
Because the first time, maybe this is not the right word, but it's like there might be a little bit of anxiety because they're not sure. And then once they do it, and then it's like it just becomes easier and easier and easier and easier. And then it's easier to tell friends, oh, just go here, do this, go here, go here. So great episode. And hopefully you liked it.
We haven't said it in a while. Please leave us some comments in there. We appreciate the comments. It keeps everything going. We appreciate everybody who watches the show, all 6 of you. So, no. So please feel free to leave comments. We hope you enjoyed the show. Anything?
Yeah, we'd love. I mean, I would say this. I get feedback all the time on the buy and sell side of people say, "Oh, we love your show. We watch your show. I saw you on the show." So keep watching. If you see me at Vero Beach, be sure and say hi. If you see Scott out there eating his
Cookies.
food, be sure and say hi.
Feel free to buy me a cookie or something as well, and I'll review it. Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks again.